I am a huge fan of the Shin Megami Tensei series, and I have most of the Devil Summoner games. This game's original title was Devil Summoner Raidou Kuzunoha vs. the Soulless Army, but I've never actually gotten around to playing them. When I saw that the first Raidou game had been remastered as Raidou Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army, and was a Switch 2 launch title, launch window, I knew I had to jump on it. This was the time to play the game. I'm not thrilled that it's one of their stupid game key cards on Switch 2, but whatever, it's really no different than buying it digital, and at least I can lend it out or sell it at some point. The game revolves around the player character, named whatever you want to name him, who is training to become a devil summoner, someone who can summon and control demons. Upon completing his training, he is given the new name Raidou Kuzunoha the 14th, and is tasked with defending the capital, which is Tokyo, from demons and protecting the citizenry from the shadows. To this end, he assumes the role of private detective with the Narumi Detective Agency. Quickly, however, a plot is discovered that threatens not only to destroy the capital city, but threatens the fabric of time itself. I've often described Shin Megami Tensei as Pokemon crossed with mythology, since the games involve capturing demons and gods from all religions and mythologies and using them in battle. This game still does that, but rather than the typical turn-based combat familiar with those who've played the core Shin Megami Tensei series or the Persona sub-series, Raidou Remastered is an action RPG. You can have 2 demons at a time fighting alongside you, although you're able to switch these in and out at will from your total supply that starts at 8 and eventually grows to 24. These demons also play a role outside of combat as well. Each demon has skills that can be used on people or objects in the environment. For example, use force, inspect, cooldown, etc. So you'll want to make sure that you have demons with you with a wide array of those skills, even if, like me, you tend to stick to about 2 or 3 for combat. In addition to your main mission, you'll be given side quests, case files as they're called in this game, that, while totally optional, can give some pretty cool rewards, ranging from money to unlocking new demon fusions. That's the other cool element that should be familiar to longtime fans of Shin Megami Tensei. You can fuse 2 demons into a new demon. Sometimes it's a stronger demon, and sometimes it's a weaker demon, but what makes it worthwhile regardless is the ability to pass down the skills of the 2 demons that went into the fusion, allowing you to make demons that may know attacks that they might otherwise be unable to learn. One thing that's important to keep in mind is that this is a remaster of a PlayStation 2 game, not a remake. While the character models and world have been cleaned up beautifully and render at 1080p for Switch, Switch 2, and PS4, 1440p for Xbox Series S, and 2160p for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro, and Xbox Series X, it is still a 19-year-old game at its core, and that is going to show in certain situations. While it may not look like a true modern game, it also definitely doesn't look like a game that released 19 years ago on the PlayStation 2. It's been really well remastered. The frame rate is, thankfully, a solid 60 FPS on all current consoles. PlayStation 4 and Switch, on the other hand, still see a pretty good frame rate, but it is a variable frame rate, ranging between 30 and 60 FPS. All in all, though, the game performs at a pretty solid level on all systems. I was a bit disappointed to see the Switch 2 capped at the Switch resolution of 1080p instead of matching the Series S resolution of 1440p, something I feel like the Switch 2 definitely could have handled easily. But I played most of the game on Switch 2 docked on a 4K TV, and it looked fantastic, even only at 1080p. Truthfully, on modern consoles with good TVs, even 1080p today looks better than the 1080p of the 8th generation, and especially early HD 7th generation consoles, so it's really not an issue here. Overall, I had a fantastic experience with Raidou Remastered. The story was intriguing and the characters were interesting, although I did find the ending to be a bit lackluster. I guess I just got spoiled with the main Shin Megami Tensei series, since those games' endings usually involve some variation of go kill God. It wasn't a bad ending by any means, but it was an okay ending to a great game. That said, it was a great game, but not an amazing game. I haven't played the other Devil Summoner games yet, but it did fall well below my enjoyment level of the main series Shin Megami Tensei games and the Persona games. I did thoroughly enjoy my time with Raidou Remastered though, and I had a lot of fun trying to fuse every demon, complete every side quest, and then steamroll the last dungeon with overpowered partners. While the ending may have been so-so in my book, I still hope they do the same quality remaster for Devil Summoner 2, Raidou Kuzunoha vs. King Abaddon. This is a pretty readily available game between the original PlayStation 2 release, the PlayStation 3 digital release, and the remaster's release on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, Switch, Switch 2, and Windows. Unless you're a never Sony and only retro gamer, you've probably got a system that some version of this game is on, and since the PS2's retro these days, much to my back's chagrin, even if you are only a retro gamer, you may still have a console that you could play this game on. I definitely do recommend it to all RPG fans, but go into it knowing that it is not probably going to stand up to Shin Megami Tensei 4 or Persona 4, for example, if you're a longtime fan of the series. My rating for Raidou Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army on Switch 2 is a B.